Welcome to Liverpool Report, your go-to for daily Liverpool FC news, transfers and match updates. If you're a true Red, hit subscribe and join the family. You'll never walk alone.
Newcastle legend Alan Shearer has spoken out and he's not angry about Alexander Isak's potential move to Liverpool. In a revealing chat with Gary Lineker, Shearer admitted the transfer window's been a disaster for the Magpies, but says if Isak wants out, Newcastle should cash in. With Arne Slot pushing hard to bring the 23-goal striker to Anfield, Shearer says it might be time to say thank you and goodbye. What does this mean for Liverpool's chances? Let's break it all down. This is Liverpool Report. Newcastle legend Alan Shearer has aired his grievances over Liverpool's chase for Alexander Isak in a WhatsApp group with Gary Lineker. But he isn't irate about the situation and thinks his old team should sell the forward this summer if he wants out. The Swedish striker, who notched 23 goals in the Premier League last season, made his desire to leave known to Newcastle last month. He skipped the club's pre-season tour in Asia and subsequently opted to train with his previous club, Real Sociedad. Arne Slot and his title-winning Reds initially made an informal approach to the 25-year-old, followed by an official $110 million bid last week, which was promptly turned down. Rumours suggest the club's asking price is around £150 million. Nevertheless, Magpies icon Shearer still feels as though Isak will soon wave goodbye. On the Rest is Football podcast, where Shearer appears alongside co-hosts Micah Richards and Lineker, the Newcastle great spoke candidly about the club's summer dealings and the Isak situation, reports the Liverpool Echo. We've had some of your frustrations on our group chat over the last few weeks, began Lineker, prompting Shearer to disclose his true feelings on the matter. I think up until now it's been a disastrous window for Newcastle, began Shearer. They're probably going to lose their best player, one of the league's best centre-forwards, if not the best. But I'm okay with the situation. I thought he might have stayed for another summer, and then this would have happened next summer, but it is what it is. If he can't be persuaded to stay, then if someone offers Newcastle what they want, then they've got to take it, because ultimately you just say, thank you very much for the great memories you've given us, and off you go. When quizzed by Lineker on whether Isak's absence from Newcastle's pre-season tour and his conduct regarding a prospective transfer had sparked any resentment, Shearer firmly responded, "It's football, Gaz. I'm not angry at all towards him. I understand how football works. I know what happens in and around the game. I probably understand his mentality. Do I like it? Do I understand it? Probably two different things, but I know what football is about and how it works. Obviously, Liverpool has been on to him and his agent. I just thought it might have happened next year. But if it really is impossible for Eddie Howe to turn him around, you get your big money for him, you get other people in, hopefully before, and then you move on. No individual is bigger than any football club, and if he doesn't want to be there, fine. Get what you can and get him out and say, thanks very much." Could Darwin Nunez be heading to Serie A? AC Milan have reportedly made the Liverpool striker their top transfer target as they look to strengthen their attack before the window slams shut. With Liverpool pushing hard for Alexander Isak and new faces like Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz already arriving, Nunez's time at Anfield could be running out. Napoli have walked away, Saudi clubs are circling. But Milan are making a serious move. Let's break down the full story right here on Liverpool Report. AC Milan have made contact with the representatives of Darwin Nunez as they eye a deal for the Liverpool forward. The Italian giants are said to have made the Uruguay international their top target for the final weeks of the transfer window. Nunez has been widely expected to leave Anfield this summer, and the arrival of Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz would appear to have left him further down Arne Slot's pecking order. Liverpool retain an interest in Newcastle star Alexander Isak too, and have seen a bid turned down for the Premier League striker. If the Reds are successful in landing the Sweden, Nunez's position would appear to be even more untenable. But thus far, Liverpool have not been able to find an agreement with any suitors for the former Benfica forward's signature. Napoli turned their attention elsewhere after being unable to find an agreement with the Reds' hierarchy. Antonio Conte instead added Lorenzo Luca to his side from Udinese on loan, with an obligation to buy for the forward for £22.7 million. But their Serie A rivals may yet afford Liverpool an opportunity to offload Nunez, who they signed in a deal worth £85 million, including potential add-ons. Milan are noted to be making a serious attempt to provide Max Allegri with a new forward with Arnaud Calimundo, Dusan Vlahovic and Rasmus Højlund shortlisted alongside Darwin, per Sky Sports in Italy. The Red striker, 26, did not feature in his side's friendly against Milan, but came off the bench days later against Yokohama FM. Nunez scored in the team's first two friendlies of the summer against Preston and Stoke City too. Slot's emphasis appeared to be on building the attacker's fitness rather than considering life without him, having also revealed Luis Diaz's absence against Milan was due to transfer speculation before he eventually departed. In Darwin's situation, he has trained really well and played a few good games for us already this pre-season, Slot said last week. He was injured, so we didn't want to take the risk. It was also the same with Wata Endo, trained with us all week, but we didn't want to take a risk with him either. It is part of pre-season, the boys need to get towards match fitness, and that is a thin balance, a thin line sometimes. A fresh offer from the Saudi Arabia is also awaited, with Al Hilal claimed to have opened talks with the player and his representatives regarding a move, but the only bid for Nunez so far this summer has been from Napoli. Liverpool are not done yet. After spending nearly $300 million this summer, the Reds are lining up a move for Crystal Palace star Marc Guehi, but there's a twist. Tottenham are ready to hijack the deal with Champions League football on offer. Can Liverpool pull off one more big signing, or will Spurs win the race? Let's dive into the full story. Liverpool are ready to continue their summer spending spree with a swoop for Marc Guehi. If Crystal Palace are willing to play ball and sell their star defender for under $50 million, the Reds will have spent close to $300 million once a deal for Hugo Ekitike is signed off later this week. The Frenchman will join Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez through the door at Anfield as the Premier League champions bid to beef up their squad. Their interest in Guehi has been well documented, and Palace's bargaining position is not as strong as it once was, with the England star now inside the final year of his contract. However, rival interest in the centre-back services from Tottenham could pose a problem for Liverpool. Spurs have cash to spend and crucially would also be able to offer Guehi Champions League football this season. And while Liverpool may be seen as a more attractive option to Guehi given their exploits in the Premier League last term, the Reds are not willing to pay over the odds after splashing some serious cash already this summer. Mirror Football outlined on Monday that Liverpool will move for Guehi if they feel he is attainable for less than the $50 million Palace are likely to demand. But if Tottenham are willing to meet said price tag, then that would likely give them the edge in the race for Guehi's signature. This summer may well represent Palace's last chance to sell Guehi if he refuses to sign a contract extension. Alternatively, the player could choose to run his deal down and move on a free transfer next summer. As well as a central defender, Liverpool are likely to try and sign another attacker if Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz depart before the firm September transfer deadline. Nunez is expected to move on, and Liverpool are happy to sell following the Uruguay international's poor 2024-25 campaign, particularly now that a deal for Ekitike has been agreed. It's a different story with Diaz. Liverpool want him to stay, but the Colombia star is understood to have told the club he wants to move this summer for a new challenge. Bayern Munich are expected to continue pursuing Diaz after seeing one bid for his services rejected already. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak has his sights set on silverware, and that could spell trouble for the Magpies. With Liverpool ready to break the British transfer record to land the Swedish star, Isak's desire to win trophies and secure a bumper contract may be pushing him closer to Anfield. The 25-year-old has privately expressed frustration at Newcastle's refusal to negotiate, while his absence from the club's pre-season tour has only added fuel to the fire. Arne Slot reportedly dreams of pairing Isak with new $69 million man Hugo Ekitike in a bold new attack, but will the Reds meet the staggering $150 million valuation? Here's everything we know so far. Want-away Newcastle striker Alexander Isak previously outlined his ambitions to win titles, with Premier League champions Liverpool gearing up to make their move. The Reds have wasted no time in sharpening their squad for the upcoming season with a series of high-profile and expensive acquisitions, and they still want the Swedish striker through the doors at Anfield. With Liverpool ready to show their hand, Isak's head has been turned, but maybe the clues to Isak's future were there all along. As speaking back in March, the 25-year-old communicated his desire to land the game's biggest trophies. While he acknowledged his commitment to the Magpies, his words suggest that Isak is perhaps looking for a level of success and a contract that Newcastle simply cannot supply right now, with the club having been hamstrung by PSR profit and sustainability regulations. I've said many times, I don't really look too much or think too much about my future, Isak said 4 months back. Making clear his desire to win top-level silverware, he continued, "But yeah, I've said I'm happy here, and we are contenders for titles, which is what you want to win as a football player. The chances are there to win things. Yeah, as I've said, I'm not thinking about the summer, but that will be a talking point when the season is finished. No contract talks have been held yet. I have high ambitions. I'm trying to create my own history at Newcastle. Happy with what I have done so far, but always looking forward. Isak is now believed to be privately frustrated after Liverpool's initial approach was rebuffed by the North East side, as per Sky Sports. Last week, Newcastle boss Eddie Howe confirmed that Isak would not be joining Newcastle's pre-season tour after the player informed the club he wanted to explore his options regarding his future. The Swede's absence was blamed on a minor thigh issue, but this followed an episode where Isak was sent home ahead of Newcastle's 4-0 pre-season defeat to Celtic, with Howe judging that the player wasn't in the right frame of mind to play following speculation over his future. Events were then complicated by Liverpool's capture of Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt for an initial €69 million as a player who was extensively chased by Newcastle. Isak reportedly saw this as a possible end to his hopes of moving to Anfield. However, it seems that Reds boss Arne Slot is looking to structure an audacious system that features Isak and his new French striker. In his 3 years at Newcastle, Isak has become an icon. He has scored 62 goals and helped them win the Carabao Cup last season. Beating the very club in the final, he purportedly wishes to join this summer. Yet Isak's ambitions are clear and speak volumes. He wants to win trophies. And as one of the Premier League's best strikers, he also wants to earn a befitting wage, with upwards of £250,000 per week, said to be his target. Earlier this month, Isak's agent, Gonzalo Gaitan, told Saudi Arabian publication Ariadia that Isak's future may be coming to a conclusion sooner rather than later. "We are indeed studying and analysing all options," he said. "We may be close to finalising the next step for the player, without revealing any details regarding whether Isak will transfer or stay with Newcastle." Yet for all the bluster and might of Liverpool's current power in the transfer market, still, no bid has materialised yet. Isak also has 3 years left to run on his current deal. Newcastle are also believed to value the player at $150 million, meaning Liverpool will most likely have to shatter the British transfer record, again, by some margin, to drag a deal over the line. Quizzed on Isak's future this week, Howe said, "He is still our player. He's contracted to us. We, to a degree, control what is next for him. I would love to believe all possibilities are still available to us. My wish is that he stays, but that's not in my full control. We have not received a formal offer for Alex from any club. My wish is that he stays and we see him playing again next year.